All right, so welcome to the Hairdresser Strong Show. My name is Robert, and will you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes, I am Yarieliz Merced. My nickname is Jody.
Jolly.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, and I graduated from Paul Mitchell a year ago, and I'm now working in a salon.
Where is that?
So I live in Haymarket, Virginia.
Yep.
So it's literally there's a grocery store within the neighborhood, and it's like there's like a whole little plaza, and it's a little salon right there.
Has it been there a while?
I believe it has been there for almost 4 years now,
Okay.
so it's fairly new.
Yeah. When you were in school, did you ever consider whether or not you would work at a salon or work at a suite or just do traveling house calls at all? Like, tell me a little bit about your thought process as you were considering where to apply and whatnot.
So when I was in Paul Mitchell, I went to Paul Mitchell of Tyson's Corner. Um, and when I was there, I knew right off the bat that I wanted to work in a salon. I had heard a lot of things about suites and how it could be a very good thing for your career, but I was always told that it wasn't a great starting point for stylists, like when you're fresh into the industry, just because, you don't really have an established clientele. You don't exactly know the ins and outs of like the, salon industry. So I didn't consider that. I could potentially see myself doing that later on. Um, but yeah, and in-house calls, again, I feel like I need more experience just in salon. So I know, what products, what color lines and all of that ins and outs. So yeah, for me, I always knew that I wanted to immediately enter into a salon.
Okay, and it sounds like you're connecting working in a salon with some form of like training or opportunities for growth that don't require you to, well, it sounds mostly like education is what attracted to you, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. So why would you say that you always knew you wanted to work at a salon?
Well, I definitely wanted to work with the team, and I definitely wanted to see, just how it works with receptionists and then coming in, sitting them down, seeing how other stylists work. With the salon that I've been currently working with, I've learned a lot just by being there. I've watched each stylist do the same haircut completely different ways, the same highlighting, balayage, but the same thing, the same outcome, but different techniques and different, so even like blow drying and all of that. So that was really fascinating to me. But yes, you are right. Education is very, very important to me.
Okay.
I feel like we're in an industry that's always changing. There's always something newer and better and, what works more efficiently. So yeah, definitely education is one of the biggest things for me.
Okay. Well, how about the team aspect of it? How do you like? What do you feel? How do you feel about the team? Like, do you how much value do you think that having people around you and a support system like that? Do you think that brings? And do you think that that is something that you imagine might want throughout your career, or do you think that you might hit a point where that's not as important to you?
Well, I definitely feel like I can work by myself and, do things like I'm really, really independent when it comes to anything that I'm doing, really. So I definitely could see myself being okay with like working by myself and all of that. But I do think, especially with me, just like getting my feet into the water, into this industry, a team is really important to me. Just because like I said, you learn so many things. And if you're not sure about something, there's always someone that you can ask. Or if someone isn't sure about something, then there's an opportunity for you to educate them. Um, and yeah, I feel like definitely team building exercises and stuff like that. Like that's really, really important. Just for I feel like new stylists. Because when you go in, you don't feel as confident in yourself. You could, when you leave cosmetology school, you're like, okay, I have an idea of what I'm doing, where I want to be. But it's different once you enter into an actual salon and then you're working in that environment and you see how things are moving along. That there, honestly, I can't put into words.
Okay, so everyone watching, this is a public service announcement. You were literally the poster child for why you should work in a hair salon. And then as soon as you said that last piece, that's like public service announcement for all young stylists. Something to be aware of is what you think you know when you're in school and out of school. And unless you're working in a salon during school, or maybe there are exceptions to every rule. Like some people grew up in a hair salon, or their family has a salon. Okay, just saying that if that's not you and you're like the majority of people, once you get out on your own or into a salon, the world kind of hits you pretty hard. And but that doesn't mean that he can't do it, So like
Right.
that's kind of part of this whole thing is like I want to understand why why rising stylists are making the decisions they are, and what I can do to like help. And my goal is that having these conversations informs salon owners and hiring managers so that they understand the rising talent, because we're in a place where there's a shift and the new generation coming in. There are more and more differences. So I've heard a lot from salon owners that they don't understand Gen Z, they don't understand millennials. So that's kind of what part of the thing that sparked up these conversations. So why don't we talk about the interviewing that you did prior to landing your job? How many salons did you apply to?
So I think I had applied to, I want to honestly say, I think I applied to two. But the first interview that I went to, and not like trying to create a biased opinion or anything like that, but honestly, when I walked into PR Partners, I was like, hi guys, I live in this neighborhood. I'm fresh out of cosmetology school. I'm looking for, somewhere to work and get started. And there are quite a few girls that work there that actually went to Paul Mitchell. So when I spoke with one of the owners, Christy, she had told me right off the bat, she's like, oh, well, I'm a Paul Mitchell girl. And so I already know what kind of education and what kind of, hands-on experience that you have. So yeah, I would like you to, come back and we'll, basically like kind of like not like necessarily like a trial week, like see how you work, where you are. So when I came in for like that trial week, they had me doing blow dries, they had me doing like mock retouches and highlights and stuff like that. And
On
they
people
kind of
or
gauge
mannequins?
on mannequins, or
Okay.
if you brought in your own models.
Okay.
That was a huge thing as well, bringing in your own models. So the other owner, Erica, she actually was hiring for a personal assistant. And at this time, I had not yet received my, what do you call this? My state board. I had not received my license yet. So right off the bat, she told me that she was looking for a personal assistant. You got to work your way up the food chain. So I had come in as like doing these mock things. So it was a combination of, this is the stuff that we see often and, like coming into our salon. So this is what we need to know that you can do. And then, show us a few things that you feel like you would like to specialize in, or like, stuff that you feel like you're good at. So they had me in there. The first week was, I want to say like not an entire work shift, but it would be like 5 hours one day. I think for the very first time I was there, it was 3 hours just for like, signing paperwork and then getting like a tour of the salon. And it was just kind of, making sure I was comfortable, seeing how I worked with the rest of the team, and seeing my timing on stuff. And that was a big thing as well. Just like, where's my starting point? And then the entire time I was there, was I getting faster with doing my highlights? Was I learning? Was I, stuff like that.
And were you getting paid during this time?
Yes, I was getting paid.
Nice. You
Because
got a little
they
paid trial period.
yes.
That's sweet. That's awesome. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of the trial period. I'm hearing more and more people are doing that. When I was coming up, I didn't have that as an opportunity. It was like, we need warm bodies now. We get you
Get in there.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, okay, cool. This is awesome. So what about this other salon that you interviewed at?
I never interviewed there. I instantly, I fell in love with this one because this was the
So you
first one.
interviewed in one place and got the job, and then
Yeah, and I was good. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's amazing. Sometimes things just work out that way. So when they talked about getting on the floor, what would be your expectations? Like, say, thinking about other salon owners wanting to attract good top talent of these rising stylists, like what type of things were you looking for in a salon prior to finding where you're happy at?
I'm not shy to talk about it. I did speak with the owner that I was being the personal assistant to. I told her I was just straight up complete honesty because I don't want to leave on bad terms whatsoever. Again, communication is really, really important to me. So I let her know, I was like, hey, I just feel like um, I'm I'm looking for more opportunities with styling versus being someone's personal assistant
Okay.
because I did learn a lot, but I felt like I learned everything I needed to know from there to the point that now I am ready to go out and actually take my own clients and build up that clientele. Education, yes, is super, like I said, super important to me. And I feel like, again, like I've learned pretty much everything that I needed to learn. Um, so yeah, education is definitely one thing I'm looking for. Um, I would really like more classes regularly. Again, you said compensation. Yes, see, compensation, this is one thing that I do want to mention for like rising stylists, like fresh out of school. Um, I'm gonna be honest, I'm still a little confused on how the like the percentage and like levels. I'm still a little confused about that. I am learning now. I wish I had started like kind of diving more deeper into that when like earlier on. So I'm learning about that now and kind of figuring out, where is it, who's going to offer um, the best for the work that I'm putting in.
Why don't you elaborate on when you say you're still a little confused on the levels and stuff. So why don't you tell us what you do understand, and maybe we can fill in a little bit of gaps. And I don't. You're not the first person to bring this up.
Another thing that I'm kind of struggling with now. Um, clientele, clientele. That is super. I wish I had known that prior, just because my location is kind of secluded from. I feel like when you look on Google and you're like, oh, salons near me. If you're looking for a hair salon to like visit,
Yeah.
we it's really tricky getting clients in.
Okay.
And I have been struggling with that the entire time that I've been working here.
As far as the compensation goes and the payment structures and stuff, like I would say the industry standard is to pay anywhere from 40 to 60%. And it is very common that there are additional charges to cover transactions. So like you have like in the business, you have two expenses. Businesses have two types of expenses. They have fixed expenses and they have transactional expenses. So like
Okay.
what most salons try to do is reduce their transactional costs and either pass it on to the stylist or split it with the stylists. You'd have to like check the local laws and the federal laws on what is allowed. I'm not a lawyer and I don't get into that. I've had my own run-ins with this where without saying too much information, it's important that people understand how they're paid because when it comes time to questioning how much money you're making, okay, here's an example. If you don't know how you're paid and you don't know the exact formula, then that right there, that for me would be run for the hills. You have what they call like a chargeback fee or a service fee, which pays for like shampoo or color or whatever. So that's not
Right.
uncommon either. Some people just give you a flat split. Some people give you like your split minus. Some people take the number off the top. So like say you make $100 for a haircut, charge $100 for a haircut, they'll take $10 off the top and then give you 50% of 90. Does that make sense? Which
Yeah.
is not 50%. It's but like the business justifies it saying, okay, the first thing because the customer doesn't pay you, they pay the
Hmm.
salon. And then the
Right.
salon pays you. And that's the big misunderstanding with a lot of hairstylists that work in hair salons. They think that they're the ones getting paid by the customer, but that's not how it works. And that's why
Yeah.
you get these like weird, like, because the business owner, to their mind, it's their revenue and they're paying you. Like
Right.
it's not your revenue and you're getting your piece of it. So I think we need to have a big conversation about that as an industry. Um,
Absolutely.
I'm actually working on something with that at our salon right now. It's in the works. We've just finished a year pilot, but this is not about me. This is about you. So let's keep on moving.
I know, I'm totally here for the conversation. I love hearing
Yeah.
input on this because I
Well,
feel like it's something people are so shy to talk about. And it's like, okay, well, like, I love my job. Like, I love doing hair. Like, that's why I went to school for it. And, I
right.
paid all that money and, and now I'm here doing this. And there are times where I'm like, oh, I got a paycheck. Today's Friday. Oh, I got a paycheck. Like, that's great. I forgot that I was
So
going to
that's
work
living the dream
for
right
this.
there.
Right. And like I'm not even trying to say it because, like, oh, interviewers, like, oh, like be fake and phony. No, like that's not how I am at all.
Right.
Like I legit like will forget. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I made money. This is what I do. But at the same time, you look at those checks and you're like, I'm making money, but hold on. Hold on. I feel like I worked really,
Yeah.
really hard. Yeah.
Have you
So I definitely
ever worked
understand
the
that.
front desk at a hair salon?
No, what's crazy is when I went in, I was telling them like, okay, well, I know like being a receptionist fresh out of cosmetology school is a big thing. So I had actually applied for like receptionist and they were like, yeah, no, you're not doing that. We need you as personal assistant. And I was like, okay, well, that's hands-on experience. That's good with me. So I never really touched a front desk, which is something I recently learned is not a great thing. You do want to be hands-on and front desk. Just because when you're booking your clients, yes, you can leave that to receptionist, but I feel like it's super, super important that you know how to do that yourself. So I've actually been working with like a few of the receptionists and just kind of being like, okay, so I have a client that I need to book for this day, but can you show me how to do it? Okay, so I'm going to do it and I want you to tell me if I'm doing this right and stuff like that.
Nice, nice.
So
That's
that's
smart.
super important.
I think answering the phones, checking people in, checking people out, those are all the soft touches that you do with
Mhm.
people with that make that like that really help improve the likelihood of retention due to like a valuable experience. Like it's not just a haircut. If you know those as a stylist, then the experience that the customer is getting is multiplied exponentially. It helps you understand like what other stylists charge too. Like I know a lot of stylists who undercharge for their work. Like that's super common.
So I'm going to be honest with you. I am currently a full-time, not only employee, but a full-time student. I'm a sophomore in college.
Oh wow, okay.
So, but flexibility is important to me just because I am a full-time student.
What do you think is a reasonable expectation for to get on the floor out of school?
I feel like if you go to a school like Paul Mitchell, you're more prepared than somebody going through a different apprentice program. Probably 6 months to a year, I feel
Okay.
like is definite a safe because then not only are you getting the the educational portion of it, getting comfortable, confidence. You gain so much confidence because if you are speaking on a topic that you don't know, you're not going to be very confident in yourself whatsoever. Now, if you know the topic, the ins and out, and maybe you're still learning, you still have a good starting knowledge base, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you can speak more confidently. You can take a client more confidently because you have an idea of what possibilities like they could ask for. Because you never know what's going to walk in if it's like walk-ins or anything like that. You don't know until it's in your chair.
Right.
So, which is exciting but also terrifying.
Right.
So, especially within this industry, if the person sitting in your chair is confident, if they feel like you're confident, they're confident in you. Now, if
Totally.
they feel like you're shy, they're gonna be nervous. They're gonna be
Oh
like,
yeah.
wait a minute.
I think there's a basic rule in customer service is once the person is upset, they're upset.
They're they're upset.
You're better off getting a buffer in between you and them.
Agree.
Okay, so to wrap this conversation up, if you could give one piece of advice to a salon owner or hiring manager, what they could do to attract top talent, what would it be?
For me, honestly, it's gonna be what do you know how to do? What do you feel comfortable with? What do you not feel comfortable with? And what if you want to specialize in something, what would it be? So I can help you grow not only, like I'm not just trying to hire you for myself. I want to help you become a better version of yourself. That's really
Yeah.
important to me, just because like if I had an employer tell me like, hey, like if you don't feel comfortable in this stuff, then we need to work on that. I will help you, get to the point where you can, do it better. So I honestly, yeah, probably that, along with everything else that we've already talked about.
Okay.
That right there is super important to me.
So are you saying you think that salon owners and managers should be flexible to growing you the way you want to be grown and not growing you to fit their business? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I feel like, yes, you definitely should know. Like if there's a specific, like I said, when I came into this job, they wanted to make sure that I knew how to do specific, X, Y, and Z, which I totally understand that. And if like that is what was needed from whatever possible employer, then yeah, I'll make sure that I can do that. But I also want to, be able to grow as a stylist myself, and
In
like things
ways
that
that you want to.
right, exactly. I'm a type of person that like as soon as I've learned something, I want to put that into use. And now if I feel like I haven't learned anything in a while and like I'm kind of becoming stagnant and I'm doing the same thing, that's fine. But I need to
Right.
be able to be challenged. I need to be able to be challenged because I'm a really quick moving person and I constantly want to keep going and doing more. So I want to grow. You know what I mean? Honestly, I feel like with every relationship, whether it be employer, employee, friends, family, people that you're, dating, whatever the case is, and this is kind of maybe like not the best advice, but this is kind of how I see things, which also don't know. Okay, so basically, with any relationship you have, you want to treat it as a 60-40. That's
Okay.
Yeah, this is gonna sound really, really strange, but like expect 40 and give 60. I feel like that's kind of, if that makes sense, especially as like a new stylist.
Yeah.
You're just starting off. Now, for me, you don't want to like you can't just expect people to believe what you say, and vice versa. Same thing goes right back. Give 60, expect 40.
I like that. So at the end of every interview, I like to end with some humor and a laugh. And
I had this one girl, not my client. I was shampooing her for somebody else. She was looking up how to be an escort.
oh shit.
Asking my opinion on things. And at first I didn't understand.
She was asking your opinion?
Yeah. So I'm like listening to her talk to me and I'm thinking, okay, she's like on a dating website, like she's trying to find people. Like that's cool, that's great. This is the perfect time to do it while you're relaxing. And she's going through and she's looking at stuff and she's like asking for my opinion. And then she went like on this like she's going on like clothing stuff and looking up specific things. And I was like, oh, like that's like a really pretty dress. Like you're going for like a special event and all that other stuff. And she goes, yeah, so how much do you think I should charge for this? And I was like, I'm like, what? Like what? And she goes, yeah, like I'm trying to do this like this escort thing. And I was like,
wow.
Escort. Okay. The last time I thought about escort, like I've had this conversation with like somebody else, like friends jokingly about like, certain things. And I'm like, okay, well there's there's like stripping, prostitution. Wait a minute. Where's the
yeah.
escort? It's like a fancy fancy
where on the it depends on what you're going to do. Maybe you should a la carte the services, have a list menu of services, I mean that's what the pros do.
Yeah, so she was getting into that and she was showing me, and then she was trying to talk me into doing it. Yeah. Wow. That has to have been one of the craziest things I've ever experienced, because there's things I've heard. There's things that I've heard. They're like out of pocket, so far out of pocket. Like they come in and they're talking about their problems like, oh, we're like gonna like fix them, like crazy stuff, which I understand. Like I'm all for, like, you want to vent to me, that's cool. Don't expect solutions from me because I'm not a licensed therapist, psychiatrist, or psychologist, any of those. I'm a licensed hairstylist. Okay. That
Yeah.
is not my field of expertise. But if you want to vent, girl, I'm here. Guy,
Yeah.
I'm here. Like they, them, I'm here. Talk to me. I love it. But at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that is talked about that is like
Yeah.
way too open. But
Uh-huh.
again, that's up to the person. So
Right.
yeah, that happened to me. That happened to me,
Yeah.
and I was very taken
Nice.
off guard because you're in customer service mode, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden someone's asking you if how you feel about. Listen.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, this was great. Thank you so much for taking the time, and I think a lot of people get some value out of this. I'll let you go. Thank you again so much, everyone. This is Jadi, and she is a rising stylist in Northern Virginia. And if you have any questions or you want to message her, you can either reach out to me or you can. I'll post. I'll make sure to leave Jadi's handle, and you can direct message her on Instagram. And yeah, thanks for watching, and thank you so much again.
Thank you for having me. And yeah, literally, if you ever have any questions, even if it's like about makeup, it's about hair, if it's just you want to talk, like just like about random things, like I'm here for that. I'm here for all of it. So, all right, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.